Hey, Earl, welcome to the show. How does it feel to be Dr. Earl today?
It feels good, Brett. I am at really what I feel the pinnacle of my career. I'm doing what I want to do, doing what I need to do, and I know exactly what I need to do every day to take care of my patients and to further myself professionally. So it's a very good feeling.
What I would like the listeners to know is a little more about your medical journey and where'd you start and where you end up and what are you doing now?
Yeah, so I am a son of Augusta, Georgia, born and raised. Many know Augusta by the affiliation with James Brown, the godfather of soul. Many know Augusta by the Masters Golf Tournament. And I started there. I started there being raised in the public school system, had some wonderful teachers and educators, left there and went to Mercer University, where I completed undergraduate training. I got a Bachelor of Science degree there, minored in chemistry and Latin, and studied with a pre-medical focus. Went to 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀 Medical College after that, and starting in 2009, finished in 2013. And I did my residency at Brown, and then after I finished my residency, I've been back home in the state of Georgia practicing medicine. And I am a practicing internal medicine specialist, internal medicine physician in Atlanta. And practicing medicine every day is my salve. I enjoy it. I don't really see myself doing anything else besides teaching, but I enjoy teaching medical students and residents and other physicians as well. Really learn more about taking initiative myself and reading and understanding what the difference is between a stock and a mutual fund. I've always believed, I actually just finished a meeting earlier with an investment group, just learning more about annuities. I am always trying to find the best way to grow my money and to let my money work for me. And I consider myself a pretty knowledgeable investor, but I'm always looking to learn from experts more and more every chance I get.
Mhm. Yeah, never stop learning.
All right.
Always have the best questions. Never be the smartest one at the table, right, Earl?
Absolutely. That's always, listen, there's always somebody smarter than you.
Yeah.
There's always somebody who can teach you something. And keeping that in mind, I think, helps us embrace humility. We can learn from anyone. And really, my journey in the profession of medicine sort of started that way, where my professors and my early mentors pretty much said, you may not be the person who's the smartest person in the hospital. The first thing you do is when you start rounding on the wards and you're a new doctor on that unit, you go and introduce yourself to the nurses, to the custodians, to the laboratory staff, to the medicals, to everybody, to the techs, to the people who draw blood, because it teaches you empathy and it teaches you that you need to be humble even though you're the leader of a healthcare team. And so I think that carries over into my personal life and my investment journey.
Yeah, I have a 10-year-old son, and it fascinates me so often. I'm telling him that he can't learn anything if he already knows everything. I love learning about the beginning piece.
Mm.
So the seed is planted. Where does that go for you? Like, what asset classes, or where do you go? What are your resources? Tell me a little bit about your journey learning about real estate.
I think it really started listening to podcasts and having an interest in building generational wealth. And then I learned about the steps. Like, what steps do I need to take to move forward with this? And again, that childlike curiosity crept in, and I read, I found out the steps I needed to take. I learned about things like doing 31 exchanges recently, things like that. So I'm always learning about ways to further diversify my portfolio, and I've always learned that one of the best ways to do that is to own real estate. And so that's where it really got started, just an interest in it. Yeah.
So we're talking about market relevance to single families in a long-term, say, I'll keep it simple, in a long-term scenario. One of the approaches that we take is called the outside-in approach. I want to make sure that I find the market and then the house, not the house, then the market. I want to find areas that are landlord-friendly, not necessarily tenant-friendly. And then once I have, I mean, that can be on a state level. Once I have that and I'm looking down into the market, I want them to be affordable homes. I want rents to be affordable, and I want income to be relevant to the rent too. So I'm thinking of all these things, and then I'm getting down inside of the market. And these markets, I want steady and consistent growth. I'm talking like 1 to 3% steady. So if you look at the Charlotte, North Carolina, that was, I believe, the 15th largest city in the United States and the 5th fastest growing. That was great for what I call kill and eat style investing. So it was short term, it was quick, it was equity capture, turn and go. But once that market swings, then that style of investing is more risky because it's you can't predict it as much. So the more growth, the less predictable something is going to be. So we're looking for that steady growth and consistent, something that's just hanging right there, because when we buy for long term, we're buying for cash flow. And once we have that predictability, then that market value doesn't matter. We get our loan, then the market value doesn't matter anymore. Once that loan is in place, that market can go up and down. Even when we're in markets where that market won't go up and down, really, it'll stay pretty persistent. Then it doesn't matter to what our cash flow is, because we have 30-year fixed loans in place. We leverage capital in those regards, and it's based off the market appraised value. We learned so much in the beginning just by trial. So trial by error, trial by fire, whatever you want to call it. So one of the biggest lessons is just taking action, getting out there and get it. Don't have these limited beliefs that you can't do it because you don't have 20% or whatever number you've made up in your mind that you think you need. You don't have the time, you don't have the resources. There's a lot of these limiting beliefs that you have. They're only there because you put them there. If you were to put it the other way, hey, what would this look like if I did have a rental property, and then worked your way back from there, you'll find the solutions and not the problems.
So I hear a lot of what you're saying it's psychological, it's mind over matter.
100%.
And then I also hear from you, don't make excuses that, other people, don't pretty much put upon you. Don't really make any excuses that you put upon yourself. No excuses really in general. So that's really good, because I've learned the more I've invested that there's a lot of psychology that goes into it. There's a lot of understanding how the ebbs and flows of the market. But it's good to know that there's a similar type of psychology that goes into investing in real estate. So that'll be great for us to leverage, when things are not always as we want them to be.